Hello, everybody. Are you tired of winning yet? Well, I'm not, but we have a lot of wins that we can celebrate today. Because the madman did it. He delivered on a lot of the stuff that he said he was going to deliver on. So I just wanted to go through and take a look at this. But first and foremost, we have a full pardon. Okay, there's a pardon of the Jan 6 defendants. They have been pardoned. Now, the reason that Trump did not do this last time, from what I've heard, is the Senate, because he was facing the second impeachment hearing, and they had told him that a bunch of Republicans would switch sides and vote for his impeachment if he pardoned them. But they've been pardoned, all of them, as far as I can tell. He said 6 commutations of people who were in jail. Let's see here. Reduce their sentences to time served. Let's see, does it list? Granting pardons and commutation, Jan 6. So we have this list of people who are now released from prison. It was reduced to time served. So based. So that's good. I'm feeling pretty white pilled at the moment. There's a couple things, and we're gonna go through them. If Trump does nothing else than his first day of executive orders, I think the whole thing was frankly worthwhile. Because we have some really good stuff. Like the Jan 6 alone, I think is good. We'll see how much of it all actually gets implemented, but we have some good stuff. We have some stuff I don't necessarily agree with that strongly, but we have a lot of good stuff. So let us get into it. So let's take a peek at the White House page. So we're going to do something quite radical. We're going to actually read what the executive orders say. Now, I know this is crazy. We can go look at it at some sort of website, but I'm just going to look at it directly. Okay, let's see here. Let me see here. Okay, so I think this is the one that reverses birthright citizenship. Is inherent. I'm just looking through this. Okay. Or is this H1B? No, this is not birthright citizenship. Let's see here. I'm just trying to figure out which one this is. I'm just scrolling down to take a look. Over the last 4 years, at least 8 million illegal aliens were encountered along the southern border of the United States, and countless million more invaded detection. Okay, so let's see here. In joining the Union, the states agreed to surrender much of their sovereignty and join the Union in exchange for the federal government's promise in Article 5, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution to protect each of the states against invasion. I have determined that the current state of the southern border reveals that the federal government has failed in fulfilling this obligation to the states, and hereby declare that an invasion is ongoing at the southern border, which requires the federal government to fulfill its obligation to the states. That's such, I like that. Let's see here. He may proclaim, suspend the entry of all aliens of any class of aliens as immigrants or non-migrants. So I think this is just banning all illegal immigrants from entering the U.S. I think this is. Sorry, this all literally came out like 20 minutes ago, so I haven't had time to go through it. Um, so this is, I believe, the banning of all illegal immigrants from crossing the border. Okay, so preamble. I hereby proclaim that entry in the United States on or after the date of this order of aliens engaged in the invasion across the southern border is detrimental to the interests of the United States. I therefore direct that entry to the United States of such aliens be suspended until I issue a finding that the invasion of the southern border has ceased. They're shutting it down. So that's cool. Let's see here. Aliens engaged in the invasion. This proclamation are restricted from invoking uh, provisions of INA that would permit their continued presence in the United States, including but not limited to. Okay, so there we go. He looks like he's closing some of the loopholes that'll let them here. Let's see here. Anyone who doesn't provide medical information, constitutional suspension of physical entry, operational actions to repel the invasion, take all appropriate actions. Okay. So that's good. Okay. So that's just stuff that's trying to mobilize the executive branch to deal with it. Restoring the names that honor American greatness. Uh, Appointments for the U.S. Board on Geographic Names within 7 days of the date of this order. Each agency head with authority to appoint members to the Board of on geographic names shall review the respective appointees and consider replacing these nominees in accordance with the actual law. So this is to reverse name changes. Now, I actually really disagree with the Gulf of America thing. I think the Gulf of America thing is retarded, and I'm going to stay by that. Like, hasn't it been known as the Gulf of Mexico for hundreds of years? Um, William McKinley, Mount McKinley, I think is good. Um, so yeah, Obama got rid of changed it, the name of it, so it's gone back to McKinley. Let's see here. The Secretary of Interior shall work with Alaska Native and state local to adopt names for landmarks to honor the history. Okay. Uh, the national park. Okay, so it looks like the park is staying Denali, which I think is an Alaskan native term, indigenous term. But the mound's being renamed Mount McKinley. Okay, that makes sense. I think that's fine. That seems like a decent compromise. Um, let's see here. We have the renaming it Gulf of America. Let's see here. Nothing in this order shall be constructed. Okay, so I think it's those two specific things, plus it's ordering agencies to start to change their policy on it. So it's symbolic. I don't like Gulf of America, but it is a good start. Okay, so this is when I was watching Daniel Davis. The Daniel, I actually really like Daniel Davis. The funny thing though is whenever he refers to like some of the online autism, because he's like a Texan retired lieutenant colonel, and whenever he refers to Weeb Union, it's so surreal to have like this guy with like this ex officer with a Texan accent saying Weeb Union. Yeah, he was talking a bit about this. So his concern was that designating the cartels as terrorist organizations hopefully won't lead to unilateral strikes in Mexico with drones or aircraft or stuff like that, because that could get ugly very quick. If they can come to some sort of agreement with the Mexican government, but it's not a precedent I think you really want to start, and it's not a road I really think that they should go down. But if nothing else, it means that they're actually taking action on this. So yeah, the cartels have been designated foreign terrorist organizations, including MS-13. Um, so that's is the policy of the United States to ensure the total elimination of these organizations present in the United States and their ability to threaten the territory, safety, and security of the United States through their extraterritorial command and control structures. Okay. So yeah, these have been designated foreign terrorist organizations. Now, once again, people will probably say in the chat, like, well, Argent, this doesn't mean anything. But if nothing else, it is saying, as president, I am using my power to try to do something about this. Because a lot of this stuff, Biden was actively using the federal government to help. So I think I think this is good. It is definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, we have the police state. Let's at least use the police state for fucking for drug cartels. Like, if we're gonna have this surveillance state, let's actually use it for something decent. The cartels are garbage. Let's see here. What's this? Um. Okay. Federal hiring should not be based on impermissible factors such as one's commitment to illegal racial discrimination under the guise of equity or one's commitment to the invented concept of gender identity over sex. Inserting such factors into the hiring process subverts the will of the people, puts critical government functions at risk, and risks losing the best qualified candidates. Okay, so banning affirmative action from it. Let's see here. Brings the federal workforce. Hiring plan shall. Let's see here. Prevent the hiring of individuals based on their race, sex, or religion, and prevent the hiring of individuals who are unwilling to defend the Constitution or to faithfully serve the executive branch. Okay, so affirmative action in the federal public service has been abolished. Um, that's good. Okay, let's see here. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI. Like, and Nog Jim is posting this stuff about. Well, we'll get to that because I think Trump actually reduced H-1B, but I don't like. I feel like there's a lot of people in these circles who wanted Trump to fail, and they would have been happier if he had have immediately upon like coming to power given Israel like $1 trillion and supported the genocide of the Palestinian people and not done any of the good stuff because it would have proven them right. My position has always been that I think Trump has a lot of problems and he is a buffoon and he is kind of cringy and I don't like the way that he goes about things. But you have to look at what he actually does versus what he says because there's often a very big disconnect there. And just from what I'm seeing with even these couple of things, this is all good stuff. Um, and you got to take the W's where you can. My friend Turlian said politicians and public figures are like dogs. You have to rub their ears and pat them on the head when they do good stuff, and you have to whack them with a newspaper when they do bad stuff. If Trump is doing good things, then he deserves their support. But as much of a disaster as a lot of his first term is, to be fair, a lot of that wasn't really his fault because of COVID. But I honestly have always said that Trump isn't like some people thought Trump was like Mussolini reborn or he was gonna run as some kind of like fascist Cadillo. I never thought that, but I do think he has pushed the conservative movement in the U.S. In a much better direction than where they were even a couple of years ago. Um, so is this going to be perfect? No. Is there going to be a lot of things that I don't like? No. But it's like this. Would you rather have 30% of the illegal immigrants deported or all the illegal immigrants getting amnesty and citizenship? I mean, I think there is actually just. Anyways. So let's see here. Okay, virtually every aspect of the federal government. Okay, okay, forced illegal and immoral um discrimination programs going by the name diversity, equity, and inclusion into virtually all aspects of the federal government in areas ranging from airline safety to the military. Okay, pursuant nearly every federal agency and entity has submitted equity plans to detail the ways that they are going to implement DEI. So DEI has been dismantled. There is no more DEI. Terminate to the maximum extent allowable by law all DEI, DEIA, and environmental justice offices and positions, including but not limited to chief diversity officer positions. All equity action plans, equity actions initiatives, or programs have been canceled. Environmental justice has been canceled. Oh, it's awesome. Okay, so that got canceled. Like once again, I like did people want him to not do this? Like people will shit on him for doing these things, but I mean, did they want him to not do it? I don't know. Then again, I'm Canadian, so my perspective on everything is just very different. Okay, restoring biological truth to the federal government. Across the country, okay, so affirming that there is only that gender doesn't exist, there is only male and female. As the policy of the United States recognize two sexes, male and female. These sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality. The executive branch will enforce all sex protective laws to promote this reality. Sex shall refer to an individual's immutable biological classification as either male or female. Um, Sex is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity. We define male and female. Um, okay, so there's only two genders now. So, like in the first couple, okay, so we have emergency on the border. Um, we have a shutdown of just complete change in immigration policy. We have the cartels getting deemed terrorist organizations. We have DEI being dismantled and affirmative action going away. We have gender defined as there only being two sexes. So I don't know. I don't know what it is people want Trump to do. I guess have more affirmative action, maybe. Let's see here. Just seeing directive to the Secretary of State. Uh, from this day forward, the foreign policy of the United States shall champion core American interests and always put American citizens first. Okay, that's kind of like a meaningless statement, but I guess it's nice. Unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. I don't think we need to look at that. I have different opinions on energy than a lot of people um, do, probably in these circles, but protecting the American people against invasion. Okay, so okay, policy. Uh, is the policy of the United States to faithfully execute the immigration laws against all inadmissible and removable illegal aliens, particularly those aliens who threaten the safety or security of the American people. Okay, so civil enforcement, criminal enforcement. Okay, so efficient removal of illegal immigrations. Uh, I don't know. We'll skip that one. Reevaluating and realigning American foreign aid. Let's see here. Reviewing foreign aid. I don't know. The foreign aid thing is always to me like a kind of a nothing burger. Like I don't think let me I could be wrong, but excluding like Ukraine and maybe Israel, foreign aid I don't think is very much of the US budget. Uh let me see here. Just trying to find it. Percent of US budget for it. Yeah, it's less than 1%. Like I don't really get like why people are obsessed with it. Um Ukraine is kind of different given how much stuff was recently, but generally speaking it's really not that much money that they spend on foreign aid compared to a lot of other stuff. It's like less than 1%, but people obsess over it for some reason. Let's see here. National energy emergency. Once again, I don't necessarily really agree with a lot of Trump's energy stuff, but I know I'm in the minority here, probably because I'm Canadian. Okay, so yeah. Uh, okay, so basically, just a bunch of stuff revoking any restrictions on energy protection. Oh, what's this? This sounds based. Promoting beautiful federal civic infrastructure. Foreign aid is another one of those spook issues like illegal immigration or troons. Okay, that's true. I don't know where like the NEDs. You know what? You're right. Okay, so Nog raises a good point. So they're against foreign aid, I think, for the wrong reason. They talk about how it's like a waste of money or like it's a large portion of the budget. It's not, but I get that it funds probably a lot of like NED related stuff, like National Endowment for Democracy related stuff, and all that like regime change operations. So in that perspective, I guess that's the case. Let's see here. Okay. Should be okay, so I hereby direct the administrator of General Service Administration. Okay, the heads of departments and agencies to submit to me within 60 days recommendations to advance the policy that federal public buildings should be visually identifiable as civic buildings and respect regional, traditional, and classical architectural heritage in order to uplift and beautify public spaces and ennoble the United States in their form of self government. So we're maybe gonna see a bit of pushback on the whole what's it called? Let's see here. Okay, where was I? I was sharing this. So we're gonna have some stuff with regards to maybe some of the shitty modernist architecture. That's good. Let's see, restoring the death penalty. So stuff to bring the death penalty back. That's good. Happy about that. Stop radical environmentalism to provide water to Southern California. Where's birthright citizenship? Oh, yeah, this is birthright citizenship. Okay, so let's see here. I'm pretty sure he ended birth. Like, once again, I don't really get why this is an L, but I don't know. I guess it brings more Indians in. All person. Okay, let's see here. The privileged United States citizenship is a priceless and profound gift. The 14th Amendment states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. That provision rightfully repudiated the decision over Dred Scott versus Sanford, which misinterpreted the Constitution as permanently excluding people of African descent from eligibility for United States citizenship. The 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone born with the United States. That's true. The purpose of the 14th Amendment was that all was to provide freed slaves after the Civil War with citizenship. I don't think it was really intended for anything else. I think it was also just, yeah, so you couldn't deny citizenship to people born of American citizens. Let's see here. Okay, so categories. The privileged United States citizenship does not automatically extend to persons born in the United States when the person's mother was unlawfully present in the United States and the father was not a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent residence at the time of said person's birth. When the mother's presence in the United States at the time of said birth was lawful but temporary. Okay. Um, all right. And the father. Okay, so basically, if the person was not a permanent resident or a citizen, then just having a child born in the US does not give them citizenship. So I think that's so none of the children born to illegal immigrants are citizens now. That's good. Okay, so all right, that's been repealed. So that's cool. Mother means immediate biological progenitor. Okay. Um, Wildfires. Okay, what is this? Refugee admission program. Record levels of migration. Let's see here. I therefore direct that entry United States under U.S. refugee admission program be suspended. Okay, so we're suspending further refugees with, I think, a couple of exceptions. Let me see. So, yep, that's been restricted. Okay, America First trade policy, security clearance. Let's see here. Um, I think he references Bolton in this or in one of these. Let's see here. Okay, that's not that important. National emergency, holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive governmental information. Let's see here. In the closing weeks of 2020, at least 51 former intelligence officials coordinated with the Biden campaign to issue a letter discrediting the reporting. Okay, so this is going after the people who lied about the laptop scandal. Um, let's see here. Okay, so okay. Yeah, he attacked. Okay, so he's specifically shitting on John Bolton. Um, okay. Review. Okay. So this is a revocation. Oh yeah, it specifically revokes John Bolton's security clearance, which is amazing. Um, they specifically got rid of him. Uh, okay, so Leon Panetta. So the security clearance of all these people has been revoked. I like how they list the specific people. I don't really know who most of these people are. I'm sure pretty much all of these people should have their security clearance revoked. So that's good. Policy influencing positions. Okay. Withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization. Let's see here. Pardons to the Jan 6 defendants. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so they have been pardoned. Okay, the federal government hiring freeze, regulatory freeze. I don't know. The problem with the regulatory freeze is I get that there's too many regulations, but it's difficult because once you start going through them, you'll find that there's often a reason why certain things have been implemented. And I don't necessarily like the idea of them just saying we can't have any regulations, period. New ones, period, because stuff comes up on a daily basis that you have to take responses to. I don't really know what the answer is to it. Nuking it and starting again is one option, but I don't know. Return to in person work. Uh, I disagree with this strongly. Um, Heads of all departments and agencies in the executive branch of government shall, as soon as practicable, take all necessary steps to terminate remote work arrangements and require employees to return to in-work in person. Like, so are we, once again, are we supposed to believe that Elon Musk has never worked remotely in his life? That he's always there? Like, when he makes decisions from Tesla, he's always at his desk at, like, Tesla headquarters, that he's at his desk at Twitter. I mean, maybe he is. I just find that hard to believe. Um, I don't know. It just seems really dumb to me. But remote work in the like, I don't. Why does it matter though? If they're in the private or public sector, if they can do their job remotely, and I'm not even the biggest like supporter of remote work. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't get why it's such a like a big issue that some people remotely work, even just remotely work like a day or two a week. Um, so I mean, I'm also against the no tax on tips thing, but whatever. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. It depends where you live. The problem is in a lot of North America, the infrastructure is shit. So, like, if you want to work in government in Toronto, you probably are not making enough to afford housing anywhere near where you work. And the public transit system is shit, so you can't use that. And parking's super expensive. If like it's possible for people in a realistic amount of time to get to work, I'm okay with that. The issue is you have so much many like infrastructure problems and stuff like that that I just don't like. I don't agree. I don't know. The infrastructure is fine. Other woke lie. I don't know, dude. I lived in Toronto for like 30 years. I I'm gonna have to hard disagree on that one. Um, it's kind of garbage, especially when you consider housing costs and how expensive it is to live in urban environments. So, but I have a once again I have just an unusual opinion of public transit versus cars because I know a lot of people in these circles hate public transit, but so the issue is you just have to kick the crackheads off. There has to be a zero tolerance for homeless people for like the scum on the public transit. I just say this because as myself, I don't really own a well, I don't own a car. I have my driver's license, but I when I move provinces, I can walk to work. So I think that that's preferable. I think if people can take a bus or a streetcar or something, that's also preferable. But that's just me, and I know that that is a minority position, particularly among Americans, many of whom believe that it is demeaning to walk to work. I know that Serp was bullied for that because he lived 10 minutes away from his job, so he walked there some days. That is probably also partially why Americans are so overweight, but it's it's I don't know, it's just a cultural thing I don't understand. Let's see here. Under the guise of combating misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. Okay, so let's see here. So this is just getting ending any censorship actions the federal government are involved in. Um, what this actually means, I'm not sure, but it at least sets the precedent. And if this comes up later on, people can refer to this when we're dealing with stuff like this. Most Americans don't work within walking distance. That was kind of my entire point. If people did live within a reasonable distance, I wouldn't have as much problem with terminating remote work. But the way a lot of our cities are laid out is just sprawling on forever. And I some people just don't like commuting an hour and a half each way every day. I my commute used to be 3 hours a day round trip, and having being able to work from home 2 days a week was nice because then I didn't have to deal with that. Um, okay, let's see here. Well, I mean, that's the reason why Americans are obese. Well, that's one of the many reasons Americans are obese. The idea that you can't walk to work. Let's see here. Cabinet and cabinet level positions. So, yeah, it looks like a lot of good stuff, to be honest. So, we have a lot of good stuff on day one. We have securing the border, revoking birthright citizenship. We have dismantling of DEI and affirmative action, um, and stuff like that. No, one of the reasons Americans are fat is because they drive everywhere. That's I don't see why that's such a radical issue. So maybe that's I guess just a crazy statement. Whereas like in Europe, people walk a lot more. Let's see here. So a bunch of stuff like that. Let me see. Biden's outgoing pardons. He pardoned his entire family. Let's see here. Several of his immediate family members. Okay. I think he pardoned Liz Cheney, Mark Milley. Mark Milley is a traitor who should be on trial for treason. Um, yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, he pardoned his entire family. That's cool, and yeah. So, they just got away with anything. So if they committed any crimes, that's fine. That's just how that stuff works. Um, Pardoning his family on the way out. I mean, I honestly don't have really an issue with it personally. I just don't like the hypocrisy. So that's the way it is. Anyways, guys, I have work tomorrow. I just wanted to come on and take a look at this. I think there's a lot of good stuff here. I don't know how this term is going to go, but it's a good start. It's a good start. It's better than I had thought. But is it going to be great? Maybe. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is there going to be a lot of frustrating stuff? Yes, there is. But we have to support Trump when he does good stuff and oppose him when he does bad stuff. He has shown at least that he is receptive to public pressure, and so is Elon. Elon has shown that if you bully him enough, he will change his position on something. And that is an improvement over the previous administration. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the matter.